Good morning, everybody. Welcome once again on another episode of On My Channel. Once again, it's your boy Lewis checking you guys again with yet another video. And I honestly wasn't thinking about posting anything today, but there was something that I just finished watching while I was on the train on my way to work. And it was something that I just had to shed the light on real quick. And it's pertaining to one of my favorite offensive players that I watched growing up. And that was one Carmelo Anthony. And I had made a video about why I felt like Carmelo was, getting a lot of disrespect. But then after watching this video, I had to really stop and think. And I had to turn the other cheek. And I never thought, and it's crazy because I've defended Melo on many, many, many occasions. I've defended him from the time that he was in the league all the way to at this point to where he's not even right now considered, in basketball. Right now he's working out, but it's like, no team really wants to sign him. And it was like, I kept wondering, I said, maybe there were some things about him that I probably knew, but I never knew that they were to the extreme. And right when I saw this video on YouTube, I had to stop and think about everything that's already entailed over his career. And I've come to the realization that, and I'm sorry, I have to say this to Carmelo fans, I'm really sorry, but it's the truth that Carmelo, as great of an offensive player that he is, that's really what he only is. He was a great offensive player, and he is a cancer in the locker room. I never thought I'd say that about a player, and I've defended Melo on many occasions, but I'm sorry. I can't defend him any longer. Not after what I saw. Not after what I heard. It's unfortunate, man, but I'm sorry. I cannot defend Melo anymore. Carmelo Anthony, as great of an offensive player as you are, your undedication to winning is one of the reasons why you're not in this league anymore as of right now. Why am I saying all this? So there was a video on YouTube by Basketball Examine. If you guys want to check it out, you just type it in the YouTube search, and then it's the latest video. It came out on, I think, a couple of days ago. But he goes in depth as to why Carmelo's not in the NBA anymore. And one of the reasons, and I looked at it, is Carmelo's history of coaches. Now, many of you know Carmelo was drafted as the third overall pick in the 2003 draft, same class as LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh, who ended up all playing together for the Miami Heat. But all four of those guys were in the top five. LeBron James was the first pick. Carmelo was the third pick. He should have gone second to the Pistons, but they dropped the ball on that one. But third was Melo. Fourth was Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade was fifth for the Miami Heat. Melo had a great rookie season with LeBron James. He averaged 20 points per game and helped lead the Nuggets into the postseason for the first time in about 9 seasons. And people thought Melo was going to be on his way to becoming a great player. Melo had just won a national title. He was the most outstanding player of the tournament. But his first coach was by the guy named Jeff Bzdelik, who, as great of an offensive player and talent that Carmelo is, Bzdelik questioned him playing team basketball in terms of playing off the ball. He questioned Melo defensively, and as a coach, you want the players to be the best version of themselves. You demand more out of them, and players would want to demand more out of themselves if they want to truly be great, if they want to win championships in this league, if you want to have accolades, along with the winning. The problem is that even in Melo's rookie season, he was having riffs with Bzdelik. I mean, to the point that he was even suspended. I mean, Melo was even benched. And at first I'm saying, okay, maybe that was just one coach. I said it could be a coincidence. Maybe, a lot of players and coaches, they have their moments where they don't get along or they have arguments in the locker room. But Melo's lack of commitment of being a leader and being a better defender, I thought that it was just the issue just started and it only ended with Bizdilic. No way. It ended up translating into the next head coach, George Karl, because Bizdilic got fired 28 games into the season after the Nuggets were 13-15. George Karl comes in. 5.5 years that Melo was with George Karl, they succeed, they win a lot of games. But even George Karl said it, even also, that he had rifts with Carmelo. And part of the problem is, even it's crazy because George Karl said that Melo is a great offensive player and he gives him the credit. And it's like the thing was his system, you had to kind of work around it with Melo's offensive game because Melo just chose not to play defense. If it was like Melo was like, it was like he was just allergic to playing defense. Like he would just not come into the end of the floor. Like when you're considered a great player, it's like you do it at both ends of the floor. Most great players do it at both ends of the floor. But the problem is that Melo had rifts with him also. And for those of you who know, I'm pretty sure many people know, George Karl came out with a book called Furious George that was published in 2017, and it talks about again. He talks about his shortcomings with Carmelo, saying that Melo again was a great offensive player, and he said he was the best offensive player that he had ever coached. But he did not like his leadership, and he did not like his lack of commitment on the defensive end. He just, and I can understand that. And so Melo and him they had their battles, and then next thing you know, Melo kind of forced himself out of Denver to go to the New York Knicks, which to this day I'm mad at James Dolan because Donnie Walsh wanted to hold up on that move, but Melo just wanted to get out of there so badly that James Dolan just forced Donnie Walsh's hand, and Melo was a Knick, and we actually gave up good players to get him. I was not happy about that because I think the Knicks could have actually made some moves with the assets. I'm not saying that the Knicks had a crazy package, but they had some assets, though. They had some. So then Melo makes his way to New York. And it's funny because the Knicks did not want Chauncey Billups, but it was like if the Knicks wanted to get Melo, he had to be part of the deal. And we gave up Felton, Gallinari. I remember some Wilson Chandler. Yo, we were balling that season, man. I remember we were balling, man, and we was gonna make a push to the playoffs. We had a good team. It's just we gave up all those pieces just to get Carmelo. And at that time, see, I didn't recognize it at that time. At that time, I was really happy because I'm like, yo, we finally got a potential superstar player in Carmelo Anthony. But I was too blind to see it at the time. I'm thinking that, Melo was going to help us lead us to the promised land. But even then, so again, Melo has been known to do isolations and post-ups, and he is known to constrict the offense. As great of a player as Melo is, and I've respected what Carmelo has done in the game of basketball in terms of his off. But again, Melo has never been about the team. It's like, I never thought I'd say that because it's like, okay, Melo, I feel like got an unfair amount of criticism, but no, it's true. Melo was not about the team. Melo was about him. Case in point, when the Knicks get Jeremy Lin, Carmelo's out with a groin injury. Mike D'Antoni's the coach. Jeremy Lin comes in. The Knicks win 7 out of 8 games. He's playing with enthusiasm. The team is playing with enthusiasm. The fans are falling in love with Jeremy Lin. This is the one thing about Melo. Melo's never been a guy that wants to share the spotlight. He's all about him. He's all about him. And that's unfortunate because of his selfish ego, that he wants to be the reason that the Knicks get victories when you can't even commit on the defensive end. All you want to do is just put the ball in the basket. And I've even said this before in many videos when I've commented. I said Melo is known for one thing and one thing only, put the ball in the basket. And I said that Carmelo is still productive. But I'm going to get to a later point that I'm going to make a little bit later in this video. But I'll talk about it in a bit. So Jeremy Lin comes in. The Knicks win 7 out of 8 after getting off to a slow start. The Knicks are rolling. Linsanity's taking over. He becomes a big story. I'm happy for Lin because Lin was he was kind of bounced around he was just on 2 other teams. Lin gets his chance in New York. He's making a story. It becomes one of the biggest stories. The Knicks are winning. And the thing is, he's point guard. Yes, he was turning the ball over a lot. But again, it was like he had the ball in his hands a lot more. And to me, Jeremy Lin just needed a veteran point guard. And I'm telling you, Jeremy Lin was going to be a great guard. It's just, again, what happened? The minute Carnelo comes back, they lose 8 out of 10 games. And it's not a coincidence. It's because, again, Melo is kind of LeBron James in this aspect. I'm not comparing the two because, again, I'm not saying Carmelo's a better player than LeBron. So, people need to relax. If you're going to jump to that conclusion, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the offense has to be centered around them. LeBron, at least the difference is he's a better all-around player than Carmelo. Even at times I'm questioning, why doesn't Melo even rebound the basketball? It's like he doesn't do other things to help teams win. All he cares about is scoring the basketball and he honestly thinks, and I really believe this, he honestly thinks that scoring the basketball is just going to help you win basketball games. It takes more than scoring to win in this league, man. Scoring is part of it. But that's all Melo cared about. On top of the fact that Mike D'Antoni wanted to move into the power forward position, Melo didn't want that. He wanted to stay at the 3. He wanted this offense centered around him. And again, Melo's been known for this, but Melo has had hands in going to the organization because the organization protected him in Denver and the organization protected Melo in New York. And Melo went to the office and said, hey, you got a decision to make if it's D'Antoni or if it's Melo. D'Antoni said he made it easier for the organization and for Melo, and he just quit. I'm thinking to myself, man, so Melo left the head coach and got 2 head coaches fired. Well, one quit, he left one, and he got another one fired. Too much of a coincidence. And I never really looked into it because I said to myself, man, it's just something about these coaches that they don't want to adjust to Melo. I defended Melo, I'm telling you, on numerous occasions. But I couldn't, like I said now, which is why I'm making this video, but I can't defend him anymore. Mike Woodson, that was probably the most defense that Melo probably even played under his tenure. And even then, so again, Melo was not a good defender. They bring the veterans in. Jason Kidd comes. And I'm like, if they keep Jeremy Lin, man, you're learning from a future Hall of Fame point guard. Jeremy Lin is going to be something. The Knicks don't bring Lin back, and I'm like, man, that's a big mistake because we have not had a guard that can penetrate in the lane, and we haven't had a guard that, once again, can set guys up. Everybody eats. Now, we talk about, Raymond Felton, but it's like Raymond Felton, he was very inconsistent because it always came in moments. I don't know. I just felt like Raymond Felton wasn't going to be that guy. To me, he did a good job. Don't get me wrong. He played really well. But he always had stretches where it was like he was not. To me, was very inconsistent. And again, Lin brought excitement. So, even with Amari Stoudemire on the team, it was just like, I began to not understand. Oh, then Phil Jackson, who said Melo is known to have the ball in his hands a little too much and the ball tends to stick, and Melo doesn't want to play the offense. And that's the thing what I've noticed about Melo. Melo was not a system player. If you watch his career, Melo was not a system player. Or he doesn't try to expand his game. Jeff Bzdelik says Melo refused to play off the ball. And he even said that in a playoff game. George Karl says he doesn't commit to playing defense on the defensive end. Bizdilik said that also. Mike D'Antoni says move to the 4. It'll help you with expanding your game because of the mismatch you'll have against others at the power forward position. Melo didn't want that. And the thing is, his stubbornness and his ego is the reason why Melo has never won in this league. And even with going to the Western Conference Finals with the Nuggets, it's like even then, so it's like he never committed. Oh, another thing. Look at the amount of point guards he's played with. Chauncey Billups. I mean, he's played with Raymond Felton, Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, Allen Iverson. I mean, those are a lot of good to great guards that he's played with. And they were never really successful in winning it all or getting over the hump. Also, I've never liked Melo's leadership. He just proves to me that he's not a leader. This dude really does care about his numbers. And it's like, I'm not trying to bash. It's like, it's facts, and it's like, it's historically proven. Like, you could watch videos. It's kind of a reason why Carmelo's overrated. Oh, and on top of that, the media pundits like Stephen A. Smith constantly made excuses for Carmelo. Constantly. So yeah, Melo was loved by the media. Melo was loved. And even when he got his small fair criticism, it was fair. It's just the media continued to give passes on Melo too. It was kind of like Melo could do no wrong. They never built around him. It's funny. I can admit, I was one of those people that was saying those things. But the bottom line is Melo does not commit himself to winning. And Stephen A. Smith kind of criticized Melo that if he cared about winning a championship, because I remember him saying that too, that when Melo won 3 Olympic gold medals, Melo was kind of saying how that was kind of a more bigger deal than winning a championship. And Stephen A. criticized him for that. Melo got on him. Stephen A. apologizes on First Take. And I'm just like, this is why I can't take Stephen A. Smith seriously. I don't care how many years and how many years of basketball that you've covered or how many years you've put work in ESPN. Dude, you need to stop talking about basketball, really. Because your mind flip-flops like a prima donna. Like, dude, like, I can't take you seriously. You or Colin Cowherd or Nick Wright or Shannon Sharp or Max Kellerman or Jason Whitlock, even some of these former NBA players, like, I'm starting to question. And I saw something on Speak for Yourself with Jason Whitlock when they were talking about the Kevin Durant situation when he was criticized. He was talking about why it's so difficult to play with LeBron James. Jim Jackson had the audacity to sit there and say Larry Bird, who was a bad brother, folks, let me tell you, a bad brother in his day, is not a transformational player. I looked at Jim Jackson like I wanted to slap the hell out of him, and I just spit my coffee in front of the TV like, this dude must be effing joking right now. And I'm going to make a future video on why Larry Bird was one of the most transformational players in NBA history. Jim Jackson totally disrespected that guy. And he's acting also like if Magic wasn't that neither. He literally said that when Dominique and Magic and Larry are in a room, you feel the energy. But when Michael Jordan comes in, it's a different type of energy. Don't get me wrong. That's true that Michael, when he came in, it was a different type of energy. But don't be coming in here acting like if Magic wasn't transformational like Larry. When you mention Magic, you mention Larry Bird too. Jim Jackson, cut the BS, man. I'm going to call you out in the next video because it's just... Oh, and Kenya Martin too, because he was talking that same ish. The hypocritical blasphemy that came out of y'all mouths. I'm sorry, man. I will address y'all in another video. But back to Melo. And then, go into the Thunder with Russell Westbrook. Yeah, I know. Listen, Westbrook has a thing to stick with the offense. But again, Melo never chooses to change his game. And his issue has been coming off the bench as well. In that one season, it didn't work, and Melo's numbers were career lows. Billy Donovan, it didn't work out. And then he goes back to Houston with D'Antoni in a trade. No, not in a trade, but he gets the best minimum. And Carmelo is stinking up the joints in just 11 games to get rid of him. And to me, that was kind of effed up in one part. But part of the problem also, Melo refused to come off the bench. And he's reminding me of Allen Iverson in that aspect, man. It's like, yo, y'all dudes need to understand. Y'all need to get rid of your stubbornness. Y'all can still help NBA teams, but your egos and your stubbornness won't allow it. And that's why right now Melo's not in the game. And the thing is, his style just does not work in today's NBA. It just doesn't. And it shows me that as great of a player as Melo, offensively as Melo was, he's not a winner. And he's not a leader. And that's why Melo's not even in the game. I also blame his wife, Lala, too. She's had a lot of influence in Melo, like not being in control of his life and in control of his basketball career. She wanted that dude so bad to be in New York. So badly. She literally forced Melo out of Denver to go to the Knicks. Not just Melo demanding a trade. She's as big of influence of ruining Melo's career as anything, too. And so they have their own set of issues. But again, as great of a player as Melo was, I'm sorry, man. But this is one of the reasons why you're not in the game of basketball right now. And if you really wanted to win, you would have put much more effort in your NBA career instead of just wanting to score and just wanting to be in the spotlight. And then when guys are outshining you, but actually like playing well and doing whatever it takes to win, and people applaud that, it's like, yo, you just didn't want that. You were jealous. You were jealous of that. And that's why, Carmelo, I can't defend you anymore, man. Like, you through the track record, you have proven that you've been a cancer. You've played with some great point guards, and you still couldn't get it done. You've played for coaches. Oh, Jeff Bzdelik, one of the highest talented scouts in the NBA currently. Very good head coach, and he was a very good assistant.